doing this too. Okay, so I'm gonna be fairly quick so we can move on to the next ideas, but you guys can watch the video and let me know if you guys have any trouble with the explanation or anything that doesn't make sense. First things first, we have a point that is whose x and y values we do not know. That's basically the idea here, okay? And this point is on this line, okay? Now, this is a very elementary thing, by the way. How do you prove that a point lies on a line? Okay, it's simple. If I want to prove that this point with this x and y value lies on y equals 4 over 3x, all I gotta do is plug the y value into the y value, the x value into the x value, and see that the equation works. That's it. Okay. So if I plug in 4k for y and I plug in 3k for x, right? And I've plugged in the point and let's see if it works. Like I'm saying works with like finger speech marks because you guys can't see me. So now let's see. So we can cancel out the threes, right? That leaves us with 4k equals 4k. And as you can see, that works. That's true. It's a true statement, isn't it? I mean, basically, when I say works, it essentially means that the equation doesn't end up giving you something stupid like 2 is equal to 4, okay, or 2 equals 3, etc. This means that the point that we plugged in is a true point. It actually does lie on this equation, and that's it. That's why it's 2 points. This is all you had to do. Okay? The fact that you didn't get a false equation means that the point you plugged in is in fact on this equation. That's it. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Part B. Find all possible values of k if I tell you that the distance between the origin and the point A equals 10. We already talked about the distance formula, right? X2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared square root. Between any 2 points, you can find the distance using this formula, correct? You guys know this?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, if I ask a question and nobody answers, from now on, I'm going to take that as a yes. But if someone wants to say no, make sure you say no, okay? Because it's going to take longer otherwise. So here's the distance formula between any 2 points. Now, if the distance between the origin is 0, 0, by the way, and A. So they're saying that the distance between 0, 0 and 4, wait, was it 4K 3? No, 3K 4K is 10. So we're trying to prove that the distance between these two guys is 10. Okay. Now, let's write down the distance formula first. The distance formula says find the difference between the x values, so 3k minus 0 square plus y values, 4k minus 0 squared square root. That's the distance, and we want the distance to be 10. That's what they told us between the origin and this point A. So this equation, does everybody get how I put this together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all I gotta do now is solve this equation. If I solve this, what's the first thing I'm gonna do? Let's see. Sophia, what do you think I'll do first?
You have to take it to the power of two. Both.
Because I gotta remove this guy. He's over everything. So I
Yeah.
square both sides. By the way, I can also just ignore the minus zeros. It doesn't really matter. If I square both sides, I got this. Now, 3k squared is 9k squared. 4k squared is 16k squared. And 100 is just 100. Now, what is 9k squared plus 16k squared? 25k squared. Now, I divide both sides by 25. I square root both sides and I get plus or minus 2 as my final answer. So I have two answers, plus or minus 2. K can be either one of those two things. And as you can see, it says find the possible values of K. We were expecting two answers. Okay. Write down the two coordinates of the two, write down the coordinates of the 2 points on the line L whose distance from the origin is 10. Okay. So we need to find 2 points on this line whose distance is from the origin is 10. So this is a bit of a confusing one. Let's take a look at this. First of all, what does this line look like? It looks like this. Okay. right? Why do I know, by the way? Because you see there is no plus c part, which means that the y-intercept is 0, so it crosses through the origin. Okay, so this is my line. Now, we have two values of k, right? And how did we get those values of k? We got those values of k by asking ourselves, what must this point be so that the distance from the origin is 10? So this k tells us a hint on how we can build 2 points whose distance from the origin will be 10, because that's how we got these values of k in the first place. So let's make 2 points. So we have 3k, 4k. That's the coordinates of our point. And we can make it using two different values of k. The first value of k, 2, will give us 6, 8. And the other value of k, -2, will give us -6, -8. These are the 2 points that will have a distance of 10 from the origin. So one of them is here, one of them is here. So these are your 2 points, and that's the answer. That's it. So again, we got this value of k by asking the question, when is the distance 10? So now the next part is literally them just asking, can you plug in this k into the point and tell us what the actual point becomes for each value of k, and that's it. Is this clear? Okay. So next question, and finally, it is demonstrate on the diagram below the results of question C. So this is basically the answer. So on the line, you're supposed to show those 2 points that you got. They're obviously on the line because the first thing we proved was that they'll be on the line. So both the points are on the line and they have a distance of 10. So we can maybe like make a little, you know, all the girls I had in my class back in school used to have multiple colored pencils. So you guys can use an orange pencil to say that the distance is 10. I'm sorry, that was very sexist, but it's true. So now let's take a look at, so any questions about this question?
No.
All right. Next question. Find the point of intersection between these two. Okay. Um, so remember, golden rule, okay? Whenever someone gives you two equations and says find their intersection points or find when they meet or find when they're equal, simply set them equal to each other, okay? That's literally it. That's it. We set them equal to each other. Now, we need to, so this is a quadratic. Hope that everybody knows here how to solve a quadratic equation. And if you guys don't, you are AI, so you guys can cheat your way through it. Calculator, I mean. So to solve this equation, what I suggest is take everything to one side of the equation first. So I will subtract 3x on both sides, and I will add 13 on both sides. I have this, and all you have to do now is solve this equation, and that's it. Okay. So if I use the calculator to solve this, I will have 1, -8, 16. So I have 4 and, oh, that's it, just 4. So 4 is the only answer you get, which means that there's only one point of intersection between this line and that curve. Okay. However, a point is not just an x value, it's a y value also. Okay. So we need to find the y value. Does anybody have any suggestions on how we can find the y value of this meeting point?
Plug it in
Plug it in where?
to the equation.
Which one? This one? Or this one?
The second
If I plug it into the second one, I'll just get 0 equals 0. Because 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 16 will be 0. And it'll
one.
equal 0, so that's pointless. I'm trying to find y. So I need an equation that contains y. Of course, I'll plug it in to any one of these guys.
Mm.
Okay. So I mean, unless you're very mathematically, what's the word? Like smart, basically. You can plug it into this one because it's going to be much easier to calculate. So y equals 3 times 4 minus 13, which is 12 minus 13, which is -1, which means that the only point of intersection is 4, -1. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Everybody good? So this is a
Yeah.
5 point question. And the reason it's so this normally would be 2 or maybe 3 points. So why is it 5 points? Because they were feeling extra fancy and they ask you to sketch a graph to demonstrate the result. Of course, you can do this very easily by just kind of plotting these on your calculator, but it's very easy to kind of show this. You can just make a parabola. Now, since you found out that this straight line meets that parabola only one time at one point, you cannot draw it like this because this meets twice. The only way for a line to meet a parabola once is if it only like just swipes it. Okay, like that. As you can see, the x value is 4 and the y value is -1. So that is your point of intersection. Okay, so the key to this sketch will be that you make sure that your line only touches once. Okay, clear? All right. Next question is about uh, the next question is you have two, okay, God, wow, so many lines. You have a line L1 with an equation that's given to you. L2 is, okay, so what do we know about L2? Let's write that down. L2 is parallel to L1 and passes for, no, 1, 9. And L3 is perpendicular to L1 and passes 1, 9 also. Okay, so what is L1? L1's equation is directly given to you. Okay, now who can tell me about L2 first of all? So L2 is parallel to L1. What does that tell me? What information does that give me? What do you guys think? What does this tell me about L2? This was from last class, by the way. I want an answer from someone. What does it mean when a line is parallel to another line?
They both have the same slope.
Exactly. Parallel means same slope. So what does this mean then? That L2's slope is what? Because you
Equal.
know the equation of L1, right? So what's the value?
The value or the equation?
No, no, just the value of the slope of L2. Because you said that the slope of L2 is going to be the same as the slope of L1, right? So what's the slope of L2 going to be then? Because you do know the slope of L1 actually, it's given.
2.
2, exactly. Because the slope of L1 is given to you, and if L2 is parallel to L1, then the slope of L2 is the same as the slope of L1. 2. Good. And now that you know that L2 has this slope and passes through this line, you can actually find the equation of that line by using, before I move on, I just want to make sure of something. Da, 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 da. Yes, okay, good. So this means that you guys are in for a nice ride. You know the slope of L2 and you know a point that L2 passes through. You need to find the equation on your own. This is homework. I'm not going to do this for you because this is from the previous notes. Okay, so good luck. For the part, so that's part A, by the way. Once you use the previous notes to find the equation, you can finish part A. For part B, L3. Now, here's the fun part. Also, this is also from last class. Now, it says that L3 is perpendicular to L1. What does that tell me about the slope of L3? Being perpendicular to another line. How is the slope gonna be found? The slope of L1 is 2, that's obvious. What's the slope of L3 gonna be if L3 is perpendicular to L1?
Is it -1/2?
Exactly. Minus reciprocals. Jessica, Amy, are you guys following?
Yeah.
Perfect. So this is, by the way, everything so far is from last class. This is nothing new to us. So perpendicular means that if the slope of L1 is 2, then the slope of L3 is going to be -1/2. That's it. And it passes through 1, 9. So again, previous notes. Do the rest of this on your own. Okie dokie. Part A and B are done. Okay, the next question is about intersection. That's from the previous question. So you can find out the answer to this yourself. You can find out the answer to this yourself too. And you can do this yourself also. So all of this is now homework. I've explained everything you need to know. I mean, honestly, even this I shouldn't have had to explain because if you looked at the previous notes, it's basically, let me actually show you just so I can prove just how much it's from the previous notes. Uh, right here. So if you look at the previous notes, there's a literal question where we're doing exactly this. We have a slope, we have a point, and we're trying to find the equation of that line using just those two pieces of information. So this is basically what you have to do. Okay? So do this on your own and then do the rest of the question on your own too, because all of these are from the previous question that we just did. Okay, same idea. Finally, we have quadratic and we need to express it in this form. Did I not send you guys the quadratic functions video? I did. So I'm not going to do this too because this is from the quadratic functions video. So try to do it,
Mhm.
and if you still can't figure it out, I'm going to actually leave the keyword so you can find it. It's from what's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Vertex form.
Is the video uploaded to YouTube?
Yep, it's in the group too. I sent the link, like the
Okay.
last link I sent is the quadratics one. Make sure you watch that, by the way. It's insanely important stuff. Okay?
Mm.
I don't want to go over it because it's gonna take an hour out of our lives, and I've already kind of gone over it. You guys should do it on your own time. It's more efficient that way. But of course, if not something doesn't make sense, let me know and I'll explain that. Just don't want to go over the whole thing because it's like too basic to, spend time on it. So that's all the questions that you guys had. So again, you guys still need to do question 12 and 14 on your own because I've explained what you guys need to know. And that's it. So we're done with the homework.